Autism and avoidant attachment are two concepts that, on the surface, might seem similar. Both can involve a preference for distance in relationships, difficulty expressing emotions, and challenges with intimacy. But are these behaviors linked, or are they driven by entirely different factors? In this video, we'll explore the intersection of autism and avoidant attachment, unpacking whether avoidant behaviors in individuals with autism are tied to attachment patterns or if they stem from unique sensory and social processing differences. By understanding the nuances, we can better support those navigating these overlapping challenges in their relationships and daily lives. Avoiding attachment, one of the primary insecure attachment styles, develops when a child consistently experiences emotional unavailability from their caregiver. To cope, the child learns to suppress their emotional needs and rely on themselves, avoiding vulnerability to prevent rejection or disappointment. As adults, those with avoidant attachment often struggle with intimacy, finding it difficult to trust others or express their feelings. They may prioritize independence and feel uncomfortable with emotional closeness, leading to a pattern of distancing behaviors and relationships. Key signs of avoiding attachment include reluctance to share emotions, discomfort with dependence, and a tendency to withdraw when relationships become too intimate. It's a coping mechanism rooted in early relational experiences, not necessarily reflective of a person's inherent social preferences. Autism, on the other hand, is a neurodevelopmental condition that affects how individuals perceive and interact with the world. Challenges with social communication, sensory processing, and understanding nonverbal cues are core features of autism, but they don't stem from attachment-related experiences. For someone with autism, what might appear as avoidance in relationships could be the result of sensory overload, difficulty interpreting social signals, or the need to regulate their environment. For example, avoiding eye contact or withdrawing during conversations isn't necessarily an indication of emotional unavailability. It might be a way to manage overstimulation or focus on understanding the interaction. Unlike avoidant attachment, which is a learned relational pattern, these behaviors are intrinsic to how the autistic brain processes information. This distinction is critical in understanding and supporting individuals with autism in their relationships. While avoidant attachment and autism have different roots, their behavioral expressions can sometimes overlap. Both can involve a preference for independence, difficulties with vulnerability, and challenges in maintaining close relationships. For example, an autistic individual might avoid physical touch or intimate conversations because of sensory sensitivities or difficulty with emotional regulation. These behaviors might resemble those of someone with avoidant attachment, but the underlying reasons are distinct. This overlap can sometimes lead to misdiagnosis or misunderstandings. A child on the autism spectrum might be labeled as having avoidant attachment if their social behaviors are viewed through a traditional attachment lens. Similarly, an adult with autism might be perceived as emotionally distant when their behaviors are actually adaptive strategies for navigating a world that feels overwhelming. Understanding whether avoidant behaviors stem from autism or attachment patterns requires careful observation and consideration of context. For someone with avoidant attachment, their distancing behaviors often emerge in response to emotional situations or relational dynamics. For instance, they might pull away after an argument or avoid discussions about feelings. These patterns are tied to their fear of vulnerability and rejection. In contrast, avoidant behaviors in autism are more likely to arise from sensory or cognitive factors. An autistic individual might avoid certain social settings not because they fear intimacy, but because the environment is overstimulating or difficult to navigate. Similarly, their reluctance to engage in emotional conversations might stem from difficulty articulating complex feelings rather than a learned coping mechanism. It's also worth noting that these two factors can coexist. An autistic individual might develop avoidant attachment if their early relationships were marked by emotional unavailability or misunderstanding. In such cases, their behaviors might reflect both neurodivergence and attachment-related patterns. Whether someone's avoidant behaviors stem from autism, attachment, or a combination of both, the key to supporting them lies in understanding their unique needs and experiences. For those with avoidant attachment, fostering a sense of safety and trust is essential. This might involve providing consistent emotional availability, respecting their need for space, and gradually encouraging vulnerability without pushing too hard. For individuals with autism, support might focus on reducing sensory overload, clarifying social expectations, and creating environments where they feel comfortable expressing themselves. Patience, empathy, and flexibility are crucial in helping them navigate relationships. When these factors intersect, a tailored approach is necessary. For example, a therapist working with an autistic individual who also has avoidant attachment might focus on both sensory regulation and building secure relational patterns, addressing the unique challenges posed by this overlap. The intersection of autism and avoidant attachment is a reminder that human behavior is rarely straightforward. By understanding the distinct and overlapping factors that shape avoidant behaviors, we can better support individuals in building meaningful, fulfilling relationships. If you're interested in exploring these ideas further, my book, The Scientific Basis of Attachment Theory, a comprehensive exploration, delves into the complexities of attachment and its intersection with other factors like neurodiversity. You can find it on Amazon by searching my name, Sacha. I've also mentioned it in the video description for your convenience. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. What are your experiences with understanding attachment in yourself or others? Until next time, take care and remember, connection starts with understanding.